You're going to take your initial 50 and add 7
Instead
to
of buying the boat, we're going to put it in a moderate investment portfolio.
Okay, and then you're going to add 7,000 to it
Instead of spending all that money on the boat every year, we're going to put it in this investment every year.
Wow. I'm going to get, I don't know, I'm $1 million?
No.
No?
$500,000.
$500,000.
$500,000. And I'm using...
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. I'm using a 7% rate of return. You know, something moderate and very attainable. If you let it set for 30 years, say you're 30, right? And now you let it set to your 60. Now you're just about a little over $1 million at 7%.
Wow.
Yeah. Just simple, 50 grand invested when you're 30, $7 grand a year instead of putting it in the boat or motorcycle or camper or whatever you do.
Sure.
Right? 30 years later, you got $1 million.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty good retirement nest egg.
If you do it. If you buy the boat, it's not. Right?
No, right. But that is...
I'm not saying don't buy the boat. That's
right.
After the break here, we're going to talk about this. And we're going to talk about, well, so what are you saying, Wayne? And, this is a battle we all deal with through our lives every day. You know, what do you do with your time and money?
Welcome to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Anchored in family values, Wayne offers practical advice to help you get the most out of your retirement years. For more information, visit today'sretirees.com. Now, here's your host.
And welcome to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Today we are going to be talking about financial plans like we always do. And Wayne, one of the things that we need to talk about, and we hit on this a couple of episodes ago, a couple of programs ago, or at least in my mind we did, when you were talking about, the Bitcoin and all these my words, pie in the sky investments. They're just going, crazy. And one of the questions that you had then was, if you make this money, then what?
Yeah, I think that show we talked about what's important about your money to you, right? And when you invest or look at options for it, what do you want to do with it? What's the objective? You should always have an objective going in.
Sure.
Is it for short-term gains? Make a lot of money quick, take a lot of risk? Is it for retirement? Is it for safety or security? So, it matters.
It does. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about, what is important to you and what is important. I guess maybe a better question, what is important to your family?
Well, this is more just about you.
Just about me.
Just about, yeah. And, I heard a statement years ago, and it proved to be true, at least in my experience, and that's you can tell what's important to a person by the way they spend their time and their money.
That's true.
Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Where do you spend your time and your money?
I've heard...
Not you, but people.
Right. No.
We won't put you on the spot.
Well, I heard a preacher one time, he said, I can tell what's important to you by looking at your checkbook.
Yeah, it's true. and not just that, but someone's time. If someone works all day as opposed to spending time with their family, then work is more important to them. If someone does whatever. So we're not necessarily going to talk about time today. We're going to talk about, where they spend their money. And it's pretty interesting. So, I've been doing this, 25 years now plus. And, everyone has different interests.
Sure.
Boating, golfing, their pets, collector cars, race cars, restoring tractors, farming, you name it. Motorcycles, camping. So everyone spends their money on these things, hobbies or their interests. And some people have the same ones, but a lot of people have different things. It's just different places they spend their time and money on.
Sure. Has this past year with in working with some of your clients where the pandemic has sort of slowed down the pace of a lot of folks, we couldn't do some of the things. Has that reprioritized some of this stuff?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think it might be the opposite, in some instances,
Okay.
where they had more time to spend on their interests, their hobbies, right? Because they weren't out doing whatever. They were
Sure.
home or secluded or quarantining or social distancing, and so they spent more time in their gardens or more times working on their boats or whatever it is that they have interest in.
Right. Do you find with your clients that when you were talking about time and money, that they do they focus this more on themselves or more on their family?
It depends on the people. I mean, not if they're a golfer, typically the family's not with them.
Correct.
Right. Maybe couples night, or the kids might go on the weekend, but same with fishing or boating. Someone may like to do that where their kids don't or their spouses don't. I have a handful of clients that restore tractors, old tractors. Some have 40, 50, 60 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They go to auctions and, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So I don't think Mrs. is out there rebuilding tractors with them.
Right.
But she may have her own things. And this could be travel too. Traveling to all the national parks, having a summer or winter home in Florida, or a summer home up in the Upper Peninsula. All kinds of different things. And there's nothing wrong with all that. It's just a lot of those activities and things cost money. And should they be doing them if their retirement plan isn't properly funded?
Sure.
And a lot of times people don't even think about it, is something called the time value of money.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of the time value of money.
When we come back, we'll probably talk about that.
Yeah, I want to give you some actual numbers. I wrote about this in my newsletter for this month.
Okay.
And so we'll talk about actual just numbers of what is the time value of money and what's the actual future cost of what you're spending today.
Sure. So when you are thinking about or you are retired, this is a very important aspect.
It could be.
It could. Okay.
Yeah, it could be. It'll be interesting to you, I think.
Okay. Well, when we get back, we'll talk about the time value of money. In the meantime, why don't you go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, todaysretirees.com. You'll find all kinds of great information there. You can look at past episodes of today's program, of today's retirees program. Also, you can set up an appointment to go in and speak with Wayne, get a second opinion if you're already working with somebody. All these things, you can do this on the website, or you can pick up the phone and call his office and set up an appointment at 866-626-3990. We'll be back right after this.
So we've all heard the word rollover when referring to an investment account at work, or your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. What do you do with that when you've left your job and your 401k or other retirement plan is still at your old employer? Or what if you've retired? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave your money, your retirement account, in your employer's 401k. Quite frankly, your old employer or current employer is the boss of your retirement account. So if you have questions about what to do with your rollover, you roll it to Wayne. Get it in your own hands where you have the whole universe of investments and choices, not just what your employer tells you can pick from. So contact my office for a free consultation on how to roll over your old retirement account. A certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find a independent certified financial planner. Somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio.
And welcome back to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Family-focused retirement planning. That's what you do, right?
And tax planning.
And tax
Retirement
planning.
and tax planning, yeah.
By the way, before we get into, we're going to talk about the time value of money. With all of this, these folks working from home for the past year, can they claim some of that on their taxes as an office, even though it was maybe the kitchen table?
Yeah, I am not 100% sure if there's any change of rules for that, but typically if you're an employee, no.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're self-employed or get paid with a 1099,
Right.
then of course you can deduct all kinds of things.
That just jumped in my head because, for the last year, a lot of folks work from home.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so. But I'm not 100% sure.
Sure. Yeah. And that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. It's just one of those birds that flew through, and I grabbed a hold of it. Time value of money. That's a term I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. So if you have two options for $1, you spend the $1 on whatever, a McDonald's hamburger, or you put that $1 in an investment and let it sit for 20 years. That $1 is going to be worth more than it was.
Correct.
It's going to grow. The same thing is if you're going to spend money on a motorcycle, a boat, a camper, whatever, a vacation, right? That money is gone, right? You did your purchase. Typically, most things we buy depreciate. They don't appreciate.
Sure.
So you got to remember the time value of money. And I'll give you an example. We use a boat, okay? Since I've been boating my whole life, we've always had boats. And they're expensive, right? They're not only expensive to buy, they're expensive to maintain. So let's say you want to go buy a boat. So you spend $50,000 on a boat, okay? And that's a pretty small, inexpensive used or new boat, or you could find a decent used boat for $50,000.
Okay.
A new 30-foot boat's $150,000, right?
Wow.
$200,000, right, or more. But let's say $50,000, and now you have to dock that boat, right? Unless you want to put it in and out with a trailer on a ramp there every time, but a lot of people dock their boats, so that's a couple $1,000 a year.
Okay.
Right? Then you got to store the boat in the winter, normally, unless you're going to put it on a tarp in your backyard and forget about it for 10 years. So
we see those occasionally.
You see those all over the place. So, typically you want inside storage. You can access it. You could, work on it, maintain it over the winter. That's, say, $2,000 a year. Sometimes a lot more depending on the size of the boat, or if you get heated storage or cold storage or whatever. Then you got to put gas in the boat when you're running it, right? Let's say that's $1,000 or $2,000 a year, and then you're going to have maintenance on the boat.
Sure.
Tune-ups, things are going to break. I mean, it's just the way it is, right? They say the acronym for boat, about another 1,000, right, when it breaks down. So today that's 1,000 or 2,000. Then you have accessories that go with boating. You have fishing gear, bait. You have water skis, tubes, wakeboards, knee boards, all that stuff. You got to invest in that. Then if you're a boater, you may get some paddle boards or floating rafts. You got those roll-out pads people jump on. So all that costs money. So let's say you buy the boat for $50,000, and you're going to spend $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 year round just to be able to boat.
Okay.
If we invested the $50,000 and the $7,000 a year cost to own the boat, and we let that set for 20 years at roughly 7%, take a guess on what that would amount to.
So you're going to take your initial 50 and add 7
Instead
to
of buying the boat, we're going to put it in a moderate investment portfolio.
Okay, and then you're going to add 7,000 to whatever?
Instead of spending all that money on the boat every year, we're going to put it in this investment every year.
Wow. I'm going to guess, I don't know, I'm $1 million?
No.
No?
$500,000.
$500,000.
$500,000. And I'm using...
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years. I'm using a 7% rate of return. You know, something moderate and very attainable. If you let it set for 30 years... say you're 30, right? And now you let it set to your 60. Now you're just about a little over $1 million at 7%.
Wow.
Yeah. Just simple $50,000 invested when you're 30, $7,000 a year instead of putting it in the boat or motorcycle or camper or whatever you do.
Sure.
Right? 30 years later, you got $1 million.
Wow. So that's a pretty good retirement nest egg.
If you do it. If you buy the boat, it's not. Right?
No, right. But that is...
I'm not saying don't buy the boat. That's after the break here, we're going to talk about this. And we're going to talk about, well, so what are you saying, Wayne? And, this is a battle we all deal with through our lives every day. You know, what do you do with your time and money? You know, this is just, I use boating as an example here.
Right.
But there's other examples, even more expensive. Airplanes.
Oh, sure.
Race cars.
Yeah.
Right? Race boats. I mean, these hobbies can cost a lot of money. I just want folks to understand the time value of money. And if you did something else with that money, or maybe didn't put it as much here, or just know the price you're paying.
Right.
Which is the way I took it, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Right. Well, when we come back, we'll talk more about time value of money. We're out of time for this segment, but go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, or pick up the phone and make an appointment to go in and see Wayne at 866-626-3990. We'll be right back.
A certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam, at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find a independent certified financial planner. Somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio. So we've all heard the word rollover when referring to an investment account at work, or your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan. What do you do with that when you've left your job and your 401k or other retirement plan is still at your old employer? Or what if you've retired? One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave your money, your retirement account, in your employer's 401k. Quite frankly, your old employer or current employer is the boss of your retirement account. So if you have questions about what to do with your rollover, you roll it to Wayne. Get it in your own hands where you have the whole universe of investments and choices, not just what your employer tells you can pick from. So contact my office for a free consultation on how to roll over your old retirement account.
And welcome back to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Today we're talking about what's important to you, time, money, and Wayne was going through our last segment. By the way, you can go to his website at todaysretirees.com and look at the last segment again, or have, tell other folks about that. But you used an example of this last, you bought a boat, you paid $50,000 for it, maintenance or $6,000, $7,000 a year. If you would have invested that over, say, 30 years, you would have roughly $1 million, maybe a little bit more, at a moderate return.
Moderate risk, moderate return.
So you're telling me as a young man, I don't need my toys. I don't need my camper or my boat, right?
I'm not saying that, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying you got to know the trade-off.
Okay.
Okay, and this isn't just a boat. This could be a room addition, right? This could be a kitchen. This could be, a golf habit. Whatever it is you're spending your money on, and your time, of course, we talked about earlier in the show, just know the trade-off. Just know what that's costing you over time. Now, maybe if you didn't buy the boat or the camper, you'd have bought something else. A lot of people, most people, the more money they make, the more they spend. Right? As soon as they start making more money, they buy the bigger house. Right?
Sure.
Well, if they just stayed in the smaller house, they'd have had a lot more money left over for retirement or for other things. I bought boats before I should have, as a financial planner.
Sure.
You make those decisions, and my rationale was if I waited till I could pay cash for them, my kids would have been grown up already. They wouldn't have been able to experience the life I wanted them to live. I wanted them to experience the lake and boating and fishing and all that stuff. So some people don't have those desires, right?
Sure.
Or some people say, we'll just wait till we could afford it, and if we can't do it, we can't do it. The kids will be fine. So everyone, you pick and choose how you spend your money.
Right.
Just you got to know the trade-off. And I'm being, some boats are cheaper, right? The bigger the boat, the more the every cost I just said.
Okay, sure.
Like my boat, it's $5,000 a summer to dock, at Cedar Point. It's $3,000 in cold storage for winter. Mechanic bills are, because they're 2 diesels. Fuel bill, I think we spent $6,000 last summer on fuel, diesel fuel. So we used the boat a lot.
Sure.
So the numbers are all higher than the ones I've used. But there are people that'll buy a little fishing boat, and so the numbers will be lower. So it just depends on the hobby or the interest of the person and what it costs to do that throughout their lifetime. And know if you'd have put that money in an investment instead of what you enjoy doing, it would make your retirement,
Sure.
fatter, wealthier.
Absolutely. So if I'm a young person and I have an inheritance coming, it would be prudent to take that inheritance and rather than buy the boat, to invest it.
Well, it depends. I mean, it's not just inheritance. It could monthly payment. You buy a new car. You could put that car payment in the, in an investment also. You got to have balance. I mean, the bottom line is balance. You want to, have a nice chunk of cash in the bank. Keep your debt low or stay debt free. Methodically, consistently put, 15%, at least 15% of your gross income in retirement, and start as young as you can doing that.
Sure.
If you do that, people will be fine. If there's extra money, buy the boat, right? Buy the camp, have fun, enjoy. Life's short.
Right.
I mean, we don't know how long we're going to be here.
Exactly.
And if you enjoy doing things, just be responsible about it. Know the trade-off. If you could afford the boat or the plane or the camper or the summer home or winter home, buy it. And it'll have memories. I mean, I like to use vacations as an example. They say, "Oh, a boat's a bad investment." Well, what's a vacation? Is that an investment?
Sure.
I mean, the money's gone when you're done.
Right.
But you have memories, your family time.
Right.
So there's, again, trade-offs.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I like about Wayne and what he teaches on this program is, and we've been doing this for several years now, and I hear this theme come up over and over again. Yeah, he'll teach you about finances, and he can teach you about investing, and he can teach you about having your eggs all laid out right and your ducks in a row and a financial plan that makes sense for your family. But he also, what I hear a lot is enjoy what the Lord's given you. Don't just hoard it necessarily.
Enjoy it, be responsible. Don't spend too much on things you shouldn't. But especially when you reach retirement, if you have the money, enjoy it.
Right.
It's just sitting in accounts. It does no good until you bring it out of those accounts or you leave it to your heirs. Sure. One or the other is going to happen eventually.
Right, exactly. And that's where we all need good, sound financial advice, put together a good financial plan so that it makes sense for you, so that you can enjoy your retirement, you can enjoy the resources that the Lord has given you through your lifetime, and Wayne can help you put together that plan that makes sense for you. He can also help you with the plan that you have, the second look, so that it, to see if could it be done differently. Like Wayne has said, he comes in and some people lay it out and he says, you're doing fine.
I can't improve their situation, right? But that's a rarity.
Right. But most of the time, that second opinion especially is important. So take the time to go to Wayne's website, todaysretirees.com, or pick up the phone at 866-626-3990. We'll see you the next time.
A certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam, at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find an independent certified financial planner, somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio.
Thanks for tuning in to today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslyk of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Visit todaysretirees.com or call 866-626-3990 to schedule a no-cost appointment with Wayne. Today's Retirees is brought to you by Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management, family-focused retirement and tax planning services, anchored in family values. Information and opinions discussed on today's Retirees do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station. Opinions expressed should not be substituted for individualized consultation with a qualified financial advisor. For specific information, call 866-626-3990 or visit todaysretirees.com.